Hey everyone. Alright, so, since you guys are watching my video, you do what I say. Take out a piece of paper, pencil. We got like one front page of notes to do. And not like a bunch, just like a few notes. So, um, I'm gonna be talking about the stock issues today. The 5 great stock issues. The very foundations of debate itself. What are the stock issues? The stock issues are 5 requirements of any affirmative case, which means that if an affirmative case does not have one of these 5 requirements, then they automatically lose, because that is what's known as a voter's issue. So what are these, what are their names? We have inerrancy, harm, significance, topicality, and we have solvency as well. So, uh, we abbreviate these the shits of debate. Yes, that's right, the shits, because that's just easy to remember. Now, before I go on, I just want to give a brief example of what all these means, so that this thing can flow together better. So, solvency. What's the primary word in solvency? Solve. So, what do you think it means? It means that you solve a problem. You have to solve a problem in your affirmative. If you don't solve a problem, then why are you even up there in the first place? But you are getting instantly dequalified just because you're like, okay, yeah. So you have to solve for something. There has to be an issue to solve for. So which one of these is for the issue? It's harms. So harms is your issue, and solvency overcomes that issue. So basically, if there's a harms of there's starvation, let's say there's starvation in a new wave of starvation in America, and you have a plan to just like invest in Cocoa Puffs, and that'll somehow, I don't know, fix the problem, that'll solve. Then you are overcoming your harms, and you are solving the problem. So inherency means that your plan isn't happening right now. And it's not just people will try and strawman you, and say, uh, generalize you. So we had people say to us, "Oh, well, you're not inherent because other people are protecting the oceans." Well, yeah, they may be protecting the oceans, but they're not protecting it the same way that we are. So keep in mind, it's specific when some people try and challenge you on inherency. But in general, just inherency is what's going on right now, and the general rule for inherency is that you can't uh, your plan can't be happening right now. And I'll explain that later. But significance is to say that the harms of your problem is a big deal. It's to say that it's significant. Oh, what do you know? Um, no further needed from there. Significance means that it's significant. It means that the harms is significant. So here's an example of a good harms, and I'll use this through the rest of the entire video. Bombs. So bombs are, in general, vague, bad things. I'm not saying how much of the bomb we have or how strong it is, but bomb. And that's all you need for your harms. So that's an example of how easy it would be to come up with your harms. Um, and just I will restate this again, I guess. Harms are very simple. Harms require that you specify something dangerous, and that is it. The dangerous usually exists in the status quo, which means that it's in the situation right now. So drill that into your head if you're new. The danger usually exists in the status quo right now. The danger usually exists in the status quo right now. You need to memorize what status quo means, and just know that status quo means the situation right now. So, significance. Significance says how important the harms is. So, let's say you chose your harms to be bombs. Alright, so we've said that there is a bomb, but so what? You haven't told us anything about the bomb. It's not significant yet. Significance describes the importance of the harm, like I've been saying. So, these questions that I'm about to say will demonstrate kind of what significance is, and how you'll see quickly how significance what significance is in this aspect. So, how much damage will the bomb cause? Where is the bomb? Who controls the bomb? When will the bomb explode? How many people will the bomb affect? When it explodes, will it affect me? Just things like that. So, these questions that try and get details of how deadly it is or things like that, that makes it significant. And if you're not significant, if you have a harm and it's not significant, then that you can probably get voted down for that and lose the round. So yeah, but I've honestly never seen someone lose on harms. Anyway, so here's a note check. I mean, this is the one out of the 4 we're gonna have. So keep in mind you got the shits on the left side, which are gonna stay there. Then you got harms and significance. I got those definitions. If you need to stop for a second, pause and do so. But we're gonna move on to demonstrating significance, and I'm gonna show a string of questions, and you'll kind of see what the real meaning of asking those questions is and why they show significance. And we're still going to be using the examples of the bomb. So, all right, where is the bomb? The bomb. Oh, well, what if the bomb was in a city? That would be terrible because then you'd have a huge amount of people who would get killed if the bomb went off. But if the bomb was in the middle of nowhere, if the thing blew up in the freaking Arizona desert, who cares, right? So the one on the left would be insignificant, and the one on the right would obviously be a problem that you should address. So location. Location is a very important factor for determining aspects like this. So let's say that someone has chosen their harms to be that a 20-ton bomb will explode. Does this fact really matter if the explosion is going to happen in the deep sea or 3 light years away in space? No, because it has no effect on us, so it's insignificant. And they could probably, lose if that's their affirmative case to solve for like a 20-ton bomb and they don't know it. So, however, let's say the bomb were to explode in a school. That'd be a huge deal, right? There's people around, you got children. You gotta be careful, and so location is a huge factor in whether something is significant. Now on to potential damage. This can be represented by the question, how big is the explosion? So, it's probably not going to be as big as destroy. It's not going to be like a Death Star shot, like the one the view down there, but just to show you the kind of difference between damages, that will impact whether something is significant or not. And potential damage, I'll keep expanding on that. If we have, say, a nuclear bomb in space, we don't really care if it explodes. And similarly, if we have the possibility of like a balloon popping into daycare, we'd probably consider that also insignificant because no one's going to get hurt from either of those cases, so it's insignificant. I'm drilling this idea of insignificance perhaps too far, but it's important. So the final one on insignificance is, or significance, I'm sorry, is how many or what quantity is this substance that we're talking about in this case bombs. So notes check. We got the same shit as last time, stuff as last time, except we added aspects of significance, where we added location, potential damage, and quantity. Keep those in mind when you go up against someone in cross-ex. Just ask them, where is this project taking place? How many plants are you building? What are the damages caused by this part of your plan, etc. And you get better at that, and you'll start winning just because people don't even know what they're talking about. And yeah, so now onto the stock issue of inherency. Inherency means what's happening right now. It's basically like the same definition as status quo. So inherency refers to anything and everything in the world that is happening now as it refers to your case or your opponent's case. So someone says that something is happening in the status quo. If they say that your plan is happening in the status quo, that means that someone's already given your plan, and based on the rules of debate, you might be disqualified because this is the whole ideology on that. Your plan shouldn't be here. Actually, I think I have that. I think I'm going to talk about here after the next part. So, the plan text and what it does. So very simply, the plan text will specify who, what, when, where, why, how, and how much you may need to accomplish the plan, aka diffusing the diffusing of the explosive. So that's the goal of the plan, to diffuse the explosive. And your plan text just outlines what you need and who does it, etc. The inherent barrier, here it is. So every plan must have what is known as the inherent barrier. The inherent barrier is something in the status quo that prevents your plan from happening. So why do we have to have something that stops our plan from happening? It seems like, the more the merrier, better, the more plans the better. But this is the idea. You're supporting that by giving your affirmative, your constructive, affirmative speeches when I see, you're saying that this is a great idea. But if it's such a great idea, then why isn't anybody doing it right now? Because a lot of these plans, people really just like aren't doing it, because people just make stuff up in debate, like, oh, we have to deal with oceans, let's just talk about dumping freaking iron in the water, AUVs, things like that. So why isn't your plan happening right now? You have to be able to show that something is blocking it, and your plan overcomes that something, which is why your plan can proceed. So once again, your plan can't happen in the status quo because um, well, actually, I'm not sure why it can't happen, exactly why it can't happen with you, but I know that if it does, then you're kind of disqualified, and I understand the reasoning for why there needs to be a barrier, because a lot of the plans which we have, which don't really have any support, like wherever they're saying that like OTEC is a great idea, and we don't even no one's investing in OTEC and etc. things like that. So it's obviously not a good idea just because no one in the real world is doing it. Is the summation of all that stuff I just said. So examples of the inherent barrier. I'm only going to do one or two, these top two. So let's assume that our plan text, we're affirmative, I'm affirmative, and I say that the United States federal government should substantially increase the diffusing of this bomb in Texas. And then someone comes up and asks, hey, why hasn't anyone done your plan already? This is a huge deal, isn't it? Like, this is a freaking bomb. And then you'll say, oh, well, no one knew about it, so that's why no action was being taken and is being taken. But now we're taking action because we're the first responders, things like that. And then for the second one, we could say, oh, well, people have been too scared to go buy it. So we're obviously more courageous than those people, therefore we can defuse the bomb and they can't. So that one's just kind of silly, but, you get it. So, finally, solvency. Solvency is the easiest of the stock issues to understand, and basically, you can infer just by the name that it means to solve a problem. So, just like in math, if you have an equation, you have to solve it for x. And in debate, you're saying that there's a problem, which is the harms, and you have to solve the problem to, come up with a better answer, I guess. You have to come up with benefits. So, basically, solvency is just the fact that you have to solve a problem. And if you solve a problem, then you will not get kicked out of a round because of solvency. Now, there are different ways to use the word solvency. So solvency can also be used in reference to evidence. Because someone might come up in a round and say, oh, hey, we have a card which says that your plants are completely ineffective and they don't do anything and they just break down as soon as you put them. Then you would basically, they would be making a solvency claim. They'd be saying, oh, well, your stuff is going to break down, so you can't solve for the problems. And if you can't solve the problems, then you lose. Yeah. Just for instance, with the bomb example again, for instance, if somebody says that you can't do the plan because the building the bomb is in, it will soon fall over. They would be making solvency claims. You cannot solve the problem of the explosion because the bomb will be covered by the huge weight of a falling of a building. I guess it was like old or something like that. So thus, okay, thus the bomb will explode away. Yeah, thus the bomb will explode anyways. So you can't solve, so you lose the round. That's the argument they made. So you would then come back with a solvency evidence card which says that the building is fine and you have no idea what they're talking about. Perhaps they're on crack or methamphetamines. And let's see, examples of solvency. So you always have your solvency claims based on facts caused by doing a plan. And then you have an assumption which you claim is good for people for whatever reason it may be. Basically, you claim in insolvency benefits, you claim that by